Hi everyone, thanks very much for joining the call tonight, which is the 33rd Annual General Meeting of Scotwest Credit Union. We now have ascertained that we do have a quorum, so we can proceed with the meeting as planned. I think everyone has seen the agenda, but we'll take things through step by step as we go. Having ascertained that we have a quorum, it now comes for us to look at the minute of the previous AGM, which was held on Monday, the 4th of December in 2023. That requires to be proposed and seconded, and that has to be by people who were present at that meeting. So if we could have a proposer and a seconder for those minutes, that would be helpful. I just want to check that we've got that because I'm not seeing anything at the moment coming up to say we have. So thanks for that. I'm then going to move on to the chairperson's report, and I've got a report to give, a verbal report, which is going to cover a number of areas, including the regulatory disclosure information that we are absolutely obliged to do at this point. So if people can bear with me, and then after that we'll move on to the Chief Executive's report, and at that stage we'll take questions and so on from members. I think we're all very aware of the current global financial situation, and while some of the global headlines have shifted, the cost of living crisis does continue to impact in our communities, and we all know that many families are still relying on things like food banks and facing financial challenges. As a credit union, our role has become increasingly vital in supporting our members through these challenging times. And I'm proud to say that Scotwest has not only maintained our commitment to financial support, but has also achieved significant growth and development throughout the year. Wanted to say a few things just first of all about membership growth and mergers, because this year has marked a very significant milestone in Scotwest's journey. Beyond welcoming almost 2,500 new members through organic growth, we've welcomed a further 2,200 members following the successful mergers with Stirling and Perth and Kinross credit unions. This was part of a strategic expansion which we wanted to do to strengthen our capacity to serve communities right across Scotland, while preserving the local identity that those credit unions have built up over their years of operation. And I want to just put on record my thanks to the dedication and the hard work of staff across all three credit unions, because that's been instrumental in ensuring a successful transition. And I want to, again, offer them my sincere thanks. These things are always difficult and things always come up that are unexpected. And it's a real testament to the staff across all the credit unions that we've been able to move forward in a successful way. So thank you. In response to market conditions and our commitment to sustainable growth, we've also implemented some necessary adjustments to our lending practices. This included revising our interest rates for the first time in many years and refining our loan products. And whilst we temporarily withdrew mortgage products from the open market, we do continue to serve existing mortgage holders. These were measured decisions taken to ensure that we maintain our financial stability while serving our members' needs as effectively as we possibly can. Recent research has also highlighted the crucial link between financial well-being and workplace performance, with 80% of employees reporting that financial stress impacts their work. So in response, we've expanded our employer partnerships to 142 organisations, with over 40% of our members now using payroll deduction for savings or loan repayments. And this free benefit demonstrates our commitment to promoting financial well-being in the workplace. If you want to sign up your place of work or know any other employers who want to be involved as an employer partner, we can drop the team an email. That's wellbeing@scotwest.co.uk, but it's easy enough to find all that information from the credit union itself. Looking forward, we've been discussing for some time now how to create a youth engagement strategy, something that's very close to the hearts of many members of the Credit Union Board. And we're launching a comprehensive initiative to engage younger members, moving beyond the traditional school-based credit union branches. And this includes expanding our digital presence across platforms like TikTok, establishing a young members forum to ensure our services evolve with the needs of a younger demographic. So again, I'd just say to all of you, watch out for announcements that will be coming in the not too distant future about the new Young Members Forum. And that's a chance for young members to help shape the future of Scotwest services for young people. In terms of governance, Sarah Waters has departed from the board, and I'd like to put on record my thanks to her for her service. We are proposing the election of Stephen Young, who was the former chair of Perth and Kinross Credit Union, to our board of Scotwest directors. And as we anticipate several board transitions in 25-26, we are encouraging members with diverse expertise, particularly in accountancy, to consider joining our board. Again, interested members, there's always a wee email link here, can contact us at governance@scotwest.co.uk, or again, speaking to any of the existing members of the board or staff. Just to sum up, as I enter my final year in the Scotwest Board of Directors, I look forward to contributing to our continued growth in the broader advancement of credit unions across Scotland. And I would extend my gratitude to all of our directors and staff for their exceptional work during what has been a transformative year, and to our members for their continued trust and participation in our community. Now, I mentioned at the outset that there are some regulatory disclosures which I do need to run through, and I will do that now. First of all, depositor protection. Scotwest members are protected by the Financial Services Compensation Scheme, and this means we're required to comply with various regulatory requirements in respect of the deposits we hold. In accordance with the PRA Credit Union Rulebook Part 10.1, we can confirm that we're compliant with the requirements of Depositor Protection 11 and 49 to 51. The PRA Credit Union Rulebook Part 2.10 requires us to maintain insurance to protect against any loss suffered or liability incurred by reason of the fraud or other dishonesty of any of our officers or employees. And in accordance with the PRA Credit Union Rulebook Part 10.1, I can confirm that we've complied with those requirements. In the section under additional activities, the PRA Credit Union Rulebook Part 4 allows a credit union to carry out additional activities and provides additional compliance requirements. And in accordance with the PRA Credit Union Rulebook Part 10.1, we can confirm that we've carried out the additional activities of additional investments, additional lending and mortgages, and that we are compliant with the additional requirements in relation to those. So thank you very much for listening to my report, and I'm going to pass over to Frances to give the Chief Executive Officer's report.
Thanks, Cathy, and good evening to everyone, and thanks for joining us at this year's AGM. So, in addition to what Cathy has covered in her report, hopefully everyone will have read my report with the AGM papers. So I would just like to say that, as you'll probably see from the report and from what Cathy has said, it's quite a pivotal time for the sector. We suddenly found ourselves at the forefront of the kind of political landscape and the discussions around the financial future of the UK, and of course that impacts for ourselves in Scotland. For Scotwest, it's been a challenging year with the shift in interest rates and having to make strategic adjustments to our lending. But it has still been quite a successful year for us, growing our savings by £2 million this year and our lending by £5 million. We've also been involved in a lot of strategic initiatives. We're working in collaborations throughout the sector. We're working quite closely with a few trusted partners in the sector on some innovations that hopefully you will hear more about in the coming months. We engage in conversations with Treasury, with regulators, with trade bodies and with some of our peers in order to move the sector forwards and help facilitate growth. And now that the government is focused on doubling the mutuals sector, then that only bodes well for us, because now there are a lot of people sitting up and listening to the good that credit unions can do for people and for their financial lives. So I'm pleased to say that Scotwest is a big part of those conversations, and we will continue to speak up on behalf of our members and hopefully be able to amplify our reach, and not just our reach from Scotwest perspective, but for the credit union sector, to make it strong and to provide services more widespread throughout Scotland. We are working on some of our AI technologies. We haven't rushed in and implemented anything scary, because I know that there's a lot of fear around AI. But what we are doing internally is looking at ways that we can adopt AI technology to help make us more efficient and to cut down on any friction that members may experience in terms of trying to access any services. We are particularly looking at how we can use it to support our regulatory reporting, our loan processing and our data analysis. So we will continue with that over the next year and continue to make improvements, and hopefully the members will see that in terms of the service that we provide. Moving forward into the future, you know, I recently had the privilege to visit the US and visit some of the credit unions there. And it was good to see that we can continue with our mutual culture and still manage to potentially achieve that growth that would be quite significant in terms of financial services in the UK. So I've taken a lot of inspiration from that, and that will help to inform us as we move forward in regards to all of these initiatives that I've been speaking about. Our focus as a credit union, we continue to focus on our strategic vision, which includes, you know, expanding our reach in the community, providing ethical finance to our members today and our members of the future. We continue to collaborate quite widely with the sector and with stakeholders, and we are working on the continuing technical enhancements that we can do whilst preserving our mutual values. So it just remains for me to say a big thank you to the board of directors, who year after year give up their free time to volunteer in the credit union. And if it wasn't for the directors, then we would struggle to achieve any of our strategic aims, and we would struggle to grow. So thanks to the directors who give up their time for free to the credit union. It's much appreciated. And also I would echo Cathy's thoughts on the staff. It has been a challenging year for the staff operationally. We've taken on a big piece of work to bring on 2 other credit unions within Scotwest, and that has not been without challenges, both technically and personally for everybody. So I would just like to say a big thank you to the staff, onwards and upwards into next year, and hopefully it won't be such a challenging year. So thanks. Just back to you, Cathy.
Thanks very much, Francis. And as you were doing that, people may have noticed I was kind of having to switch from one screen to another, having a bit of a technical malfunction. Everything works fine until you get to the kind of final point. And that did make me realise that I had actually failed to mention one particular part of my report because I was so busy switching screens. So I'm going to do it now. And apologies to Francis for coming in again immediately after that. But what I should have reported to the meeting is, of course, when I was talking about the transitions, as Scotwest grown significantly and with increasingly complex accounting standards, our previous timeline for preparing annual accounts has become unsustainable, and people would have noticed that, of course, that we don't have the annual accounts at this meeting. So to address this, we're adjusting our annual general meeting schedules to ensure that we can maintain the highest standards of financial reporting. So moving forward, we will be holding our AGMs in February each year, beginning February 2025. And that gives us a bit of an extended preparation window to allow us to deliver comprehensive, accurately prepared accounts to our members, while the new timing will also enable a greater degree of, I hope, member participation by avoiding the busy holiday period. So this change reflects both our commitment to robust financial governance and also to maximise member engagement, which again is something that is important to us. So just in case people are wondering why it's an AGM coming up in 2024 in December and then something else being planned for 2025 in February, that's an explanation of where we are at. So I don't think I have missed anything else with the technical malfunctions, and I will now look to see if we've got questions from members. If somebody could identify what questions we have. I'm not seeing anything at the moment, so I'm taking it from that there aren't any questions, in which case we can move on. And the next item would be the election of directors. And as I did explain earlier, the proposal is to elect Stephen Young to the position of director on the Scotwest board. So there will be a voting option comes up for people. There'll be a yes, no, and there will be an abstain box, just to explain that because members of the nominations committee don't vote in relation to this. That's why there's an abstain box there as well. Okay, so I'll look over to see if we've got the voting list coming up. And if people can vote. And again, I'm just looking for guidance here because I'm not having all the information come up on my second screen. So if people could, somebody could let me know when the voting is concluded, and if someone who can see it could maybe make the announcement. Apologies for this.
Hi, Kathy. Yeah, I can see that then there's been 17 votes cast, 3 abstentions and 14 votes for Stephen to be added to the board.
Okay, thank you for that, and apologies, John, for having to bring you in there. It's not ideal, but I don't know what's happened with this second screen. Thanks. So congratulations to Stephen. Look forward to you joining the board, Stephen, and very much look forward to working with you. The next item is the appointment of auditors. And I wanted just to bring in David McBain, who is one of our auditors, just to give him the opportunity to say anything he might want to add in relation to the issue of date change of the AGM and the timing of the accounts and so on. So if we can bring David in at this point, that would be helpful. David's still muted.
Sorry, there we go.
So thank you, Kathy, and good to get a chance to speak to everyone today. Just want to reiterate and reinforce that message that you gave there, Kathy, about the change to the timetable for the audit. So this is something that has been very much planned for from both sides, with obviously the growth of the credit union, with the mergers in the year, coupled with the increasing demands of an audit process, the complexity, the extra steps that we need to go through. The feeling was that in order to make sure that the process was meeting everything that we would want it to meet, and give members the comfort that they should get from an audit process, that it would be right to extend the timetable and allow a bit more time for that. So that's been the case this year. Given that I've got the opportunity to speak to the members just now, I would just reiterate that from the work we've done today, there is nothing that I would feel I need to draw to the attention of members. So the process is continuing on as scheduled, and will progress over the next month or two to a point of completion. So nothing of note to date, but as I say, just to reinforce that we have planned for this timetable change, and I do think it is the right answer for the credit union to allow that extra window to get everything that needs to be done.
Yeah, thanks very much, David. We do have to take a vote to formally approve the appointment of the auditors, and that will be coming up. Take a vote to formally approve. And again, if somebody could just let me know when that vote is completed.
Hi, Kathy.
Yep.
There have been 16 votes cast, and all have been for the appointment of Johnson Carmichael as auditors. So that's gone through.
That's great. Thank you very much for that, John.
Thank you.
And thank you to David. Okay. Next item is another vote, which is in relation to changes to the rule book. A number of these things have to be decided at the AGM in order to bring us in line with the current requirements in relation to compliance and other areas. So I think that information has been available to people. So if we can move to the vote for that.